Good afternoon, everybody, and Happy New Year. Well, Happy New Year calendar year, but Happy New Year. This is New Year's Day in the man-made calendar. The 1st of January. Now, even if I didn't have a calendar or a clock or any contact with the outside world, I could look at the shadows and the sunlight and where the sunlight is shining in this room and tell you it's the beginning of January. And all of you can do the same, but you've probably not even thought about looking at the light in your room, or maybe you have. Maybe I'm just assuming that you haven't. But it's wonderful to see this light. Anyway, I have been, come on Jack, let's go out, very busy over in the tunnel, working away, clearing space. It's all about clearing space and making room for the new year, making room for the spring really, for Immock. So I spent the past 2 days over in the tunnel. This is just going to be a one long shot video, by the way. I'll take you over there. I'll show you what I've been up to. The birds are very active at the moment. They're very, very hungry because, as you can see, there's still frost on the ground. I've been collecting wood in my cart. Got to get that into the barn. See those birds. Still fairly quiet though, because the birds are busy just feeding. They're not actually going into the mating season just yet, but I'd say another 3 or 4 weeks and there will be quite a cacophony of sound out here, and it'll be rising up day by day. I've just had a lovely bowl of soup, homemade soup. I've been living on homemade soups over the past week or so, and it's wonderful. I feel really energised. I feel, well, you'll be able to see because of the amount of work I've got done. So we're now at the beginning of a 6-week lockdown here in Ireland, and it's level 5, I think, which means that there's basically no shops open other than essential shops. We're not allowed to travel more than 5 kilometres away from home. No one's allowed to go visiting. You know, you can have a bubble with a friend. You could take that literally and meet your friend up and just sit there blowing bubbles. But anyway, it is what it is. And doesn't really matter that much to me anyway, because January is an incredibly busy month for me. I very rarely leave the property because there's so much to do. You know, the apple trees have to be finished pruning. You see these long stems? They're going to come back by about 2/3. So I've got to get those cut on these apple trees here, and then I've got more apple trees over there. And that's just the apple trees. But I promised myself I was going to have a really good clear up of the tunnel and do a lot of refreshing in here and change the whole energy in the tunnel. And that's what I've been up to. So I've done all the cleaning and the clearing and the cutting back and the pruning and the sweeping up and the tidying. And you can see I've moved the egg chair over here. And it's here at a very good position because if I turn round, got the beautiful view there of the steps down to the fairy wood. and it's just parked underneath this honeysuckle. So I've saved some of the cuttings. So I've got lots and lots of rosemary and sage and sweet bay. And I'll show you where I've put most of the cuttings. Look at that for a compost heap. I just stack it high and leave it. That's my way of making compost. That's nature's way of making compost. It works perfectly. So I've moved my willow pyramid over here, and I've popped that over the post where the water tap is, because the posts look pretty just nothing really. I thought it would be better to have something to cover it, and I thought this was ideal because it was beginning to rot down a little bit out in the garden because of all the rain. I thought this was a perfect place for it. So I've given the nectarine tree a really good prune. So I'm looking forward to lots and lots of fruit this year, but big fruit, edible fruit. Because if you've got too much blossom on the tree, then you end up with lots and lots of tiny fruit, which is neither use nor ornament really. Well, to me. I've also given the peach tree a really good prune. Now you can see where the sun is just peeping over the hill at Ballyfermoil. So during the autumn and winter and early spring, there is limited sunlight here, but it doesn't seem to make any sort of difference in terms of what grows. Everything seems to grow really well. So I've been pruning the bay tree, and this is my little woodland area here. I've got to come in and prune the grapevine as well. I'll do that in the next week or so. I've left all the foxgloves, and now looking down the tunnel you can see how much work's been done. I've got to clean the outside of it, but I'll start that as soon as the kind of frosty weather is over. It could end in the next day or two. I haven't looked at the weather forecast. Oh, there's the boy walking around that way, look. Where's he gone? Yeah, you can see there's a lot of work to do. And on the inside here, because of course there's been plants growing up the side of the tunnel. So I really wanted to keep this space as a sacred space and dedicate it to the great goddess, Mother Earth, a place where I can come and sit and contemplate and read and commune with Mother Earth, but also a place to think and to plan and to listen, actually listen to the energies that are coming up through the earth. Is that something we all need to do? A very long time ago we stopped listening to Mother Earth, and our lives have gone downhill ever since. So this is the 17th year of the polytunnel. It really is amazing. It's incredible how the plastic has survived, and the tunnel has gone through so many evolutions. Because in the early days it started off as a place where I grew all my vegetables, because I had virtually no income at that point. And it's evolved and evolved year on year. It's become something different to serve my needs. But then as soon as I started writing and making a small living from the sale of my books, I decided to use some of that money in supporting other growers So I go to the farmer's market and I buy my vegetables. I go down to Knockvicar Organic Gardens, which employs a fair few people, and I buy vegetables from there. So I support other growers. And I've evolved the tunnel into like a natural sanctuary. There's a lot of little birds and all come in here. I always leave both doors of the tunnel open because it's protected on all sides from the wind. And in fact, if you look up here at the door on the south side, you can see all the shrubs that are growing quite high just outside the door. Of course, the south side is where the wind blows from quite fiercely during a storm. But because of the shrubs, it's filtered. So by the time the wind does get into the tunnel, it may have gone from 70 miles an hour down to about 10 miles an hour. And that's not going to damage the structure. And of course, last year, you've seen the photographs I put up of the little wrens that were nesting in here. So I think that this part of its evolution is just sort of a perfect journey through time, serving my needs and then serving the needs of nature, because of course everything should serve the needs of nature and Mother Earth. It's beautifully silent. And the sky is beautifully blue. And there's the little robin down there. So just to wish you again a happy new year and blessings from Bealtaine Cottage. And I look forward to posting hundreds more videos. I know this year I've posted, this year I'm saying last year, 2020, I don't know how many videos I posted. It must be 100 videos or more, probably a lot more than 100. But I make videos as the Spirit moves me. And it's really just to show everyone what's possible, and also to share what I now call my sanctuary with everyone. So blessings to you all, and I'll talk to you again very soon. Blessings.